I don't know exactly what I'm going to title this episode, so I'm going to start out by just apologizing up front and saying I'm sorry if I scared anyone with like any personal stuff. Personally, I'm fine. There's no tragedy that's happened to me. I'm fine. I have a feeling that the name that I'm going to give this pod will probably reflect like something happening to me, and it didn't. But there were several tragedies over this weekend, and I do want to talk about those. I was supposed to record on Friday. I ended up doing family stuff instead, and then I had Saturday. I thought I had Saturday free, and I ended up doing family stuff there too. So I can't. I can only apologize. I didn't intend to miss the Friday recording. It just is what happened. It's happened. It's stuff. So I'm back on Monday, and I wish I had better things to talk about, but I don't. So let's talk. Welcome back to Trent Takes On 2.0. I'm Trent. This is my show. Yeah. There were a series of tragedies this weekend that I wanted to I didn't want to I don't want to talk about this stuff ever. I don't. But it becomes one of those things that the less you talk about it, the more numb you become to it, the more you realize how bad the numbness is, that you should always be heartbroken and you should always be outraged when there are tragedies that happen, like the ones that have happened over the weekend. I guess I should just recap. Saturday evening, there was a shooting at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. 2 people were killed, and several more are still receiving in hospital receiving care. The subject is still at large. As of this morning, when I last checked a few minutes ago, yeah, it is. It's just another mass shooting in the United States. They happen with incredible frequency. I believe the count for 2025 is now at 392. So more than a mass shooting a day in this country. That's what we do. That's how we roll, you know. It never gets, I don't know. We don't, I heard something that the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, said that really irked me about thoughts and prayers, and how he says that, you know, people challenge him that thoughts and prayers are not action, and he says thoughts, you know, prayers are action, and it's not the kind of action that makes the problem any different. You know, we can wait for whatever gods there are in this universe to solve our problems for us, or we can solve them ourselves. And I can tell you, in the history of humankind, that far more problems have been solved by humans taking initiative and doing the best they can than by waiting around for some supreme being to pitch in and help us out. I have no problem with people of faith. Honestly, I don't. I admire you. I wish I could join you, but I'm too cynical, I think. There was also a shooting in Australia at a place called Bondi Beach. 15 dead, and several more still receiving treatment. I don't know a whole lot about this one yet, except that it happened at a first night of Hanukkah celebration. And apparently now I don't know the specifics, many of the specifics. I know some. The alleged gunman is a Pakistani, and apparently we're looking at what could probably easily be called a hate crime. But also one of the man who tackled a shooter. His name is Ahmed Al-Ahmed, who became an Australian citizen 3 years ago. He is a Muslim. He says his deed was a way of conveying his gratitude for staying in Australia and being granted citizenship. He took 5 bullets and fears he will lose his left arm. But he is a hero and being heralded as such, with good reason. Because this happened in Australia, of course, the right wing in the United States has taken to social media to scream about how, I thought you said that Australia didn't have mass shootings. No. Australia has extremely strict gun laws in the aftermath of a mass shooting that happened back in the 90s. And to put it into perspective, in the last 10 years, the total mass shooting deaths in the country of Australia is 35. 35 people have lost their lives in mass shootings in Australia in the last 10 years. By comparison, the number in the United States is over 5,500. So do with that information what you will. Gun laws help prevent these things. Is any prevention, any amount of laws going to be 100% preventative? No. I mean, by their own admission, the right says, well, the criminals are still going to get their guns. Yeah, I guess. We seem to be of the belief that the right to bear arms in this country, the United States, is sacrosanct. It is the one thing that, like, I have to have my guns in case the government becomes a tyranny. And yet the government has become a tyranny and they aren't rising up against it. So there's that. We've fetishized guns in this country for a really long time. And it is the way it is. It is unfortunate that we've decided that this is the path we want to go down. I was discussing with a partner earlier this morning, Emily, that, for years and years and years, Hollywood's been making mega blockbusters, action movies, everything from Lethal Weapon and Die Hard in the 80s to war movies like Saving Private Ryan in 1917, and these big budget everybody shooting each other's. Like, I think those stories are going to go away now. I think that Hollywood is no longer profitable. These big budget Hollywood movies are no longer profitable the way they used to be. You have to tell stories that are so far outside the realm of what's possible in a blockbuster just to make it worthwhile. Look at even superhero movies are flagging. It's the entertainment industry is really taking a hit because of the change in viewers, in the audience, and the change in the way we get entertainment. Movies aren't fighting against each other for your attention anymore. They're fighting against everything, from video games to streaming services to TikTok. And it's all fighting for your attention, to podcasts like this one. Not that I'm a threat to, Disney. You guys are safe. Disney, you're safe. Everybody's fighting for your attention. I'm fighting for just a piece of your attention because I feel like I want to talk to you. And I want to talk to you because I want this to be my good deed. Or part of it. This is part of my good deed. I have to continue to do other shit in the real world. I'm not absolved of, the other 6 days and 23 hours of my week. I don't just get to run around like an asshole for all that time. And then for an hour a week, I talk about doing good deeds, and that absolves. No, I have to continue to live this. I was born broken. I got more broken over time. I'm still broken. I did bad things in the past, but I can't anymore. I have to walk the straight and narrow now, and I have to be a better person now. And this is all part of it. Something happened along the way where I started understanding how important life was, and how important relationships are, and how important we are to each other. And there are people I've hurt, and I apologize for all of that. I have to do that individually. I have to find you and say, I'm sorry. I have to find you, and it's going to be a long life, I think. I don't know even... It's tricky because I'm sure that a lot of people don't want me to say I'm sorry. They don't want to see me again. I understand that. I would understand that. I do understand that. But when I see tragedies like Brown University, when I see tragedies like Bondi Beach, I think about how precious it all is, and how we all should feel that way. We all should feel that this world is it's all we've got. Each other, we're all each other has. And there are sick people in this world that have decided that it's okay to be as sick as they want to be. And I do think that there are people masquerading as leaders in this world, not just in the United States. I'm not just talking about the regime when I talk about this, but it's worldwide, that there are leaders who use rhetoric, who use their pulpit to dehumanize other people, their opponents, or even innocents who are just convenient to scapegoat for whatever reason, because to stay in power is the most important thing to these people, or to accumulate more power, to accumulate more money. Like I read a tweet by Elon Musk talking about how the United States has to stop giving things to immigrants because it's encouraging more of them to come here, and it's going to ruin Western civilization and the Western way of life. Elon Musk, who is an immigrant, who has benefited more from the handouts of the United States government than any other person in history. The number of subsidies that he has received for his various businesses, the number of government contracts that he has received for his various businesses, all paid for by United States tax dollars. That immigrant who is became the wealthiest man on the planet, thanks in no small part to handouts from the United States government, is telling us that we need to stop giving out handouts to immigrants. For the record, the stuff that he's talking about, healthcare and Social Security and food assistance, if you're not a citizen or a permanent resident of this country, you do not have access to any of those things. Those benefits are beyond you. And if you've ever had to try and get those benefits, you know what you have to go through to get them. So it's gaslighting, naturally, from someone who has no business gaslighting us. Tragedies are horrible. And when they happen to people you have no idea who these people are, it's kind of easier to brush them off. And then when tragedies happen to famous people, they hit you harder because you know of these people. I know who that is. And I did an entire episode, I think it was 94 days ago now, 94 days, give or take, over the murder of Charlie Kirk, who was He was a person who didn't deserve to die. He was murdered. He was wrong in almost everything that he espoused. All these things that he stood up there and screamed about, I disagree with him wholeheartedly, but he didn't deserve to die. He didn't deserve to be killed. And when he was killed, when he was murdered, a guy who had advocated for violence of some sort, if not killing. Remember, violence isn't just physical violence. Starving people is violence. Alienating them by taking away their livelihood is violence. There's more to violence than just murders and sexual assaults. Charlie Kirk wasn't a particularly nice fellow. He didn't exactly believe that everybody was equal. I'm just going to leave it at that. I did a whole episode on this, and I don't regret any of it. But last night, Sunday night, Rob Reiner and his wife were murdered, stabbed to death. His own son, their own son, Nick, has been arrested in association with that murder. Nick has a history of substance abuse issues, and he has at times lived on the street by his own admission. I'm going to get to substance abuse in a minute, but I want to talk about Rob Reiner, who has directed some of my favorite films. His first film was Spinal Tap. I mean, wow, what a way to start. Spinal Tap, Stand By Me. A Few Good Men, Misery, When Harry Met Sally, A Princess Bride, Rob Reiner. He was also the producer of a film that he really wanted to direct. But the guy who had written the screenplay had bought the rights to it and refused to give them up. That guy was Frank Darabont, and that movie that he ended up producing under the Castle Rock banner was a movie called The Shawshank Redemption. Rob wanted to direct it so bad after reading the script, but Darabont refused to give it up. So Rob helped to bankroll it with Castle Rock Productions. And Rob did a movie called North with Bruce Willis that was a horrible failure and panned as one of the worst movies of the decade. And it kind of wrecked his directorial run. And he would go on to continue to direct here and there. But he was also a progressive advocate. He was very outspoken about Donald Trump and the way he behaved and the things that he was doing. Rob Reiner was one of the most important people in the overturning of California's Prop 8, which basically banned gay marriage in the state. And Rob Reiner was one of the leaders of the coalition that got that overturned and is responsible for marriage equality in some small way, very much so. Rob Reiner was a good man who believed that you should be able to be the person that you want to be. And his death is a tragedy. It is a legitimate tragedy. Murdered in his home along with his wife. This is just awful stuff. And he was a good guy. He was a truly good guy. And a good voice. He did not like Donald Trump. Here's a quote from Rob. Silence in the face of authoritarianism is complicity. Speaking out is a patriotic act. Democracy doesn't defend itself. It requires participation, vigilance, and courage from ordinary people. He's right. He's absolutely right. I'm sad that Rob Reiner was stolen from us because he was an important voice, an important figure for us. And his death is a tragedy, just like the shooting deaths at Brown University and on Bondi Beach of people that we will never know. We'll never remember their names. You know, and I remember that episode that I did about Charlie Kirk was also about a woman named Melissa Hortman, who was a state assembly person for the state of Minnesota. And she was assassinated by a political assassin who is not being charged with terrorism, by the way, by the feds. Lance Volter. Allegedly, I guess. I guess you have to say allegedly because you're innocent until proven guilty. But people don't remember those names. In the wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination, everybody was like, you can't say any bad things about Charlie Kirk. And everybody had to turn down the rhetoric. Everybody had to turn down the rhetoric. Everybody had to be nice to each other. Be nice about Charlie Kirk. The right was throwing a fit about how we have to be nice about Charlie Kirk. Well, let's see what Donald Trump had to say about Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle. Here's the Donald Trump Truth Social post from 9:51 a.m. Eastern Time this morning. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, in all caps. Sometimes referred to as TDS, he was known to have driven people crazy, all caps, by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. That's the statement from the President of the United States, the Mad King himself. The death of a beloved American artist, TV star, actor, and writer and director. Rob Reiner is an American treasure from a family of American treasures. And this is the response to it. Donald Trump makes everything about himself, unless it's bad. And then in that case, he doesn't know anything about it. I didn't do that. I don't know anything about that. Narcissistic sociopath. That's Donald Trump. I said it. I'm proud to say it because it's the truth. People need to hear the truth. You need to realize the truth. I'm going to read one more statement on the passing. Rob Reiner's work has impacted generations of Americans. The characters, dialogue and visuals he brought to life in film and television are woven throughout our culture. Rob loved our country, cared very deeply about the future of our nation, and fought for America's democracy. Rob and his wife, Michelle, loved each other very much. They were dear friends, and Doug and I are devastated to learn of their passing. Our thoughts are with their loved ones during this tragic time. That was by former Vice President and presidential nominee Kamala Harris. Yeah, it's a big difference, isn't it? It's a big difference, isn't it? I was talking to Emily this morning about how I'm done. I'm fucking done with the both sides. I'm done with the Well, the left does this. The left does that. Remember when the left did this? Remember when the left is, there are bad people on both sides. No, I'm done. I'm done even humoring people who want to talk like that, whoever you want to start like that. Because I want you to show me the truth. I want you to show me the receipts. Talk to me, tell me about how the left has ordered death threats against people who disagree with them. Do you remember when Texas passed a law banning abortion in their state? Do you remember when Texas passed a law allowing people to carry guns in the streets of their state without any supervision whatsoever, without any licensing needed whatsoever? Those are two real things that are happening. Do you remember all of the death threats that all of those lawmakers got because they passed those crazy ass laws? Do you remember all of the leftists who called and said, I'm going to kill your family? No, you don't, because they didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. Meanwhile, Indiana state senators refused to pass a bill that would redistrict their state. They refused to pass it, despite pressure from the White House itself, from the president himself, and from countless anonymous, threatening phone calls, emails, instant messages, you name it. People threatening to kill them and their families if they didn't redistrict the state of Indiana so that Donald Trump could get another seat in the House of Representatives, so that Republicans could get one more seat. Called them traitors, called them seditious. Threats of violence against people and their families. That happened last week. That happens all the time. I don't want to hear one more time how there are bad people on the left that are threatening people. No, there aren't. There are not. And if they are, chances are now, it's just another false flag by the right. Another one of these crazy right-wingers who threatens people all the time. Is like, oh, you know what I need to do? I need to make a threat go in the other direction just to kind of even it out a little bit. I've heard these voicemails. They play them. They share them. Alyssa Slotkin, senator from the state of Michigan, shared a series of voicemails that she got after posting a video along with 5 of her Senate and congressional colleagues, all former military or CIA, reminding our troops that they have an obligation to not follow unlawful orders. To remind them to follow the law. She got death threats. Vile, disgusting, awful death threats. For reminding people not to break the law? Who the fuck do you think you are? This is not all right. This is the problem we have. People like Donald Trump claim that their enemies have Trump derangement syndrome and that it's okay to kill them. Any other president, any other political figure in the history of this nation would have been stripped of power, ostracized. Not now. No, not now. The cult is too strong. The cult decides who wins primaries. And these Republicans want to stay in power, so we got to suck up to the cult. And I'm allowed to do that accent because that's where I'm from. That's what I grew up with. You people are fools. People in the Trump cult are fools. You think that a man who pisses in a gold toilet and gets to take his private jet everywhere he wants to go for his entire life cares about you in any way, shape, or form? No, Not even remotely. He cares about your money. He cares about grifting you. He cares about making sure that you show up to the polls for him when he needs you. When he needs you. When I need you. Classic abuser. The Mad King is just that. He's a sociopath. He would happily watch this world burn. Happily watch us murdering each other in the streets. Wouldn't care, doesn't care at all. Life means nothing to these people. It's gross. It's disgusting. It's wrong, and they never should have been entrusted with power again. He never should have been allowed to run again. That January 6th insurrection should have been it. That's it. You're done, son. You don't get to come back and try again. You tried to overthrow the election that took you out of power. It's called a coup. He attempted a coup. The only difference is he didn't have the military on his side. But does he this time? He sure seems to think he does. Both sides approach these things differently. In the wake of Rob Reiner's death, the platform known as X, formerly known as Twitter, is a cesspool for vile and disgusting and horrible fucking things that people are saying about Rob Reiner in the aftermath of his tragic murder. The same motherfuckers that threw a shit fit about Charlie Kirk's murder. And how we were like, Charlie needed to be a cooler dude. He was basically out there screaming about violence. Rob Reiner wasn't screaming about violence. Never. He hated what Trump did to this country. Like a lot of us. Like the majority of us. But we'll have to keep fighting. We'll have to keep doing our best to push back, to protest, to boycott, to vote these fools out of office when we have an opportunity. Every time. Every time. All go, no quit. Because to lose this battle, to lose this fight for the soul of our nation, as Joe Biden correctly pointed out in 2020, ends the experiment. I used to be upset that the 250th birthday of this nation would be celebrated with Donald Trump in the White House, covering everything in gold, ordering dollar coins with his face on it be printed by the mint. It's a real thing that's happening. Donald Trump, the worst president in this country's history, the first president to try to overthrow an election, was reelected and will be standing there acting like a king on the 250th anniversary of a country that refused to bow to a king. It used to upset me so much knowing that. But I've decided that it's the warning. The 250 years. What feels like complete permanence. Like no human's ever going to live this long. Two of the longest lived humans in the world back to back wouldn't get 250 years. It's a reminder of how impermanent it all is. How temporary this could be. We need to fix this stuff. We've got a lot of problems that we need to fix. Democrats are interested in fixing those. The liberal-minded among us are interested in fixing those. The conservative-minded among us just want tax breaks and to throw brown people out of the country. I believe that may be oversimplifying it a little bit, but it sure feels like that's all they've got on the books as far as the to-do list. Make the wealthy even more wealthy. Take power away from the poor people and even the working class. Just they don't need any power. They don't need it. Screw them. That's what the Republican platform is. They don't have a platform anymore. Project 2025, that's basically all it is. Rich people run amok. People who claim to be Christians who don't understand being Christian at all, telling everybody that they have to be Christians, but not real Christians, fake Christians like them. And throw brown people out of the country. Like that's the whole 2020 Project 2025. Indoctrinate, propaganda, make sure that, people can't be gay anymore. All that. That's in Project. That's the Republican platform, if you will. What do Democrats want? Health care for people, higher wages so you don't have to live in poverty. Fucking commies. Are you serious? They want to help people? Yeah. They think that rich people should pay their fair share in taxes. Yeah, that's what Democrats believe in. Everybody should vote. Everybody should have the opportunity to vote. If you're 18 and a citizen of the United States, you should have an opportunity to vote. We shouldn't be putting up roadblocks between you and voting. We should be helping you vote. That's what Democrats believe. Democrats believe in you having rights. And to every Republican who whined, who cried all the way through the Obama administration, all the way through the Biden administration, all the way through, go all the way back to Clinton. Go all the way back to Clinton. They're coming for your guns. They're coming for your guns. Did they come for your guns? Did they ever come for your guns? Was it even debated? Was it even talked about? Nope. Fiction in your brain. You dreamt of a tyrant that was going to hold you down. And in the process, created a tyrant to hold everyone down. Yeah. Congratulations. Tragedies happen in every state, every country, around the world. Preventable tragedies. Sick people act in sick ways. And when you know of people who are on the edge, you got to do something. Reach out to them. Reach out to the authorities if you can't reach out to them. Do your best. Because the tragedies that happened at Brown University, where the suspect is still at large, on Bondi Beach in Australia, and right here in LA where Rob Reiner and his wife were murdered, those tragedies are all preventable somehow, some way. When I lost my mom in 18, I changed a lot. I had changed before that with the birth of my now 12-year-old. I mean, you hit different turning points at different times in your life. You hit rock bottom sometimes. I've done it a couple times. Sometimes you don't know where to turn to, what to do. I mentioned substance abuse, how awful it is, how hard it is to deal with. And we deal with different substance abuses in different ways. We treat, largely, even as a culture, we treat alcoholism as a disease. And it is. We say people who become addicted to alcohol can't control that addiction. It controls them. It's a sickness. It's an illness. And it's really hard to fight through that and to become healthy again. And it's always there over your shoulder. But we don't treat drug addiction the same way. Sometimes we do, but usually we treat it like it's a criminal thing. We talk about it in a criminal way. We criminalize drugs instead of understanding that habitual drug use that leads to addiction is a sickness too. We need to help people, not shun them, not imprison them, certainly. It's so hard to hear that Rob and his wife were murdered. And the suspect, apparently it's their own son who struggled with this substance abuse and living on the streets. And I know sometimes people don't want help. I mean, sometimes people just don't want to be helped. But just because you don't want it doesn't mean you don't need it. Doesn't mean the offer shouldn't be there. Yeah, all of it. Mental health, substance abuse. We don't treat it the way we need to treat it. With caring and understanding. These are health problems. It's an illness. There's no such thing as Trump derangement syndrome, the way they talk about it. The Trump derangement syndrome is what Trump has himself. He thinks he's the center of the universe. And he's not. Billions of people walk this planet. And there aren't a very large portion of them whose lives would change at all the instant that he's not with us. It's just a fact. It's a fact for all of us. It's so important to each human being to be a part of something bigger, be a part of a community, be a part of a society, be a part of a family, be a part of a friend group, anything, to be a part of something where you're not alone. It makes all the difference in the way that you feel about yourself, in your health. And if you are alone, if you are in pain, if you are in need of help, reach out. Find that help. There are people out there that help others all the time. And I can't say this enough. Every once in a while, I get overwhelmed with it all. I get drawn into despair and melancholy, and I sit there and I think, fuck. I feel like a lot of it doesn't matter. And then I think about all of the organizations out there, from AA and Narcotics Anonymous and Gamblers Anonymous to women's shelters to halfway houses to the social state-run social services to outreach to homeless shelters to remember there are so many people who devote their lives to helping others and making their lives better. And I admire them all so, so very much. And I'm trying to do my part now. So take heart, listeners. There are people in this world that care so much about it that they're willing to tackle a gunman on Bondi Beach. That they're willing to devote their time and energy to making the world a better place every day. They're heroes. All of them. And they deserve our admiration and love. with that, I am going to step out. I'm going to be back again at least once more this week. I want to do 2 more this week. I owe you guys. I'm going to put plenty of content out before Christmas, and then I'm going to take Christmas week off to spend with my girls and try to do some good. In the meantime, thank you all so much for being on these journeys with me. This is my therapy. This is my, this is my thing. I do, and I couldn't do it. I have trouble doing it sometimes, but I do think I make a difference, at least a small one. And I hope my kids feel the same way. So thank you for being with me. Thank you for sharing this when you share it. And I'll be back with you before you know it, hopefully tomorrow or maybe Wednesday. We'll see. But I appreciate you all so very, very, very much. I'll talk to you again soon. In the meantime, be good humans. It's the least we can do. Love you.